the untold stories of assassinated African leaders whose assassinations were influenced, directly or indirectly, by Western interests, arranged from the most recent down to the earliest. Each account reflects the complex interplay of local dynamics, Cold War rivalries, and the role that Western powers, or their proxies, played in shaping these tragic outcomes. 1. Muammar Gaddafi, Libya, 2011.
طبعا أنا قايم بثورة عندها طروحات عالمية وساهمت في حركات التحرير مساهمة فعالة، والدولة المستعمرة لا تريد هذا طبعا، عشان كذا صوروني بهذه الصورة.
Muammar Gaddafi seized power in Libya during a 1969 coup and ruled for over 4 decades. His regime was marked by a mix of authoritarian control, Pan-Africanist ambitions, and a challenge to Western policies in the region. In 2011, as popular uprisings swept across Libya during the Arab Spring, Gaddafi found himself facing a massive insurrection. Under the mandate of a United Nations Security Council resolution, NATO intervened with airstrikes aimed at protecting civilians. This intervention helped empower rebel forces that ultimately captured and killed him in Sirte. Though the immediate cause was internal revolt, Western military and political support, via NATO, helped shape the conditions that led to his violent death and the collapse of his regime. 2. John Garang, South Sudan, 2005.
Because we want this peace agreement.
John Garang was the leader of the Sudan People's Liberation Army Movement, SPLA-M, and played a crucial role in negotiating the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, CPA, that ended Sudan's civil war. He briefly served as Sudan's first vice president before his untimely death. On July 30, 2005, Garang died in a helicopter crash while returning from a meeting with Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni. Official reports attributed the crash to bad weather and pilot error, but many suspect foul play. While no direct evidence links Western powers to his death, theories persist that his vision for a united New Sudan threatened both internal and external interests. Some believe that elements within Sudan's government or foreign intelligence agencies may have played a role. Garang's legacy continues to shape South Sudan's political landscape. His death remains one of the most debated incidents in African history. What do you think about his impact on Sudanese politics? 3. Laurent Désiré Kabila, Democratic Republic of Congo, 2001.
Moi, Laurent Désiré Kabila.
Laurent Kabila was a revolutionary leader who led the overthrow of Mobutu Sese Seko in 1997, ending decades of dictatorship in Zaire, now the Democratic Republic of Congo. His presidency was marked by efforts to consolidate power and resist foreign influence, particularly from Western-backed regional forces. On January 16, 2001, Kabila was shot 4 times in the abdomen in his official residence, the Palais de Marbre in Kinshasa, by his 18-year-old bodyguard, Rachidi Mizel. The assassin was immediately killed, preventing further investigation into his motives. While the official narrative attributes his death to internal military conspiracies, many suspect foreign involvements. Kabila had strained relations with Western powers and neighboring countries, particularly Rwanda and Uganda, which had backing from Western allies. Some theories suggest that his assassination was part of a broader geopolitical strategy to reshape leadership in the DRC. His son, Joseph Kabila, took over the presidency after his death, leading the country through a transitional period. Kabila's assassination remains one of the most debated political killings in African history. 4. Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso, 1987.
Les élèves réactionnaires, les élèves indisciplinés, paresseux.
Rising to prominence in 1983 through a coup, Thomas Sankara was a charismatic revolutionary leader who rebranded Upper Volta as Burkina Faso. He implemented aggressive policies focused on land reform, gender equality, and self-reliance, all while promoting anti-imperialist rhetoric. On October 15, 1987, Sankara was killed in a coup led by his close associate Blaise Compaoré. His radical reforms and independent stance had ruffled the feathers of established Western-friendly interests. Many researchers and commentators believe that Western governments, especially France, disliked Sankara's disruptive vision for Africa and may have covertly supported or facilitated the coup that overthrew and murdered him. 5.
A luta continua! Contra o quê?
Samora Machel, Mozambique, 1986.
A coisa mais bela que há na vida de homem é viver livre, é viver independente, é ou não é? Pode não ter comida, pode não ter roupa, mas é livre. É ou não é?
Samora Machel was a revolutionary and the first president of Mozambique after it won independence from Portugal in 1975. A committed Marxist with a vision for social justice, he led Mozambique through a turbulent post-colonial phase marked by both internal reconstruction and external pressure from apartheid South Africa. On October 19, 1986, Machel died in a plane crash near the border with South Africa. Although officially ruled an accident, suspicions have long lingered about the circumstances surrounding the crash. In an era defined by Cold War maneuvering, there are well-documented suspicions that Western intelligence, as well as apartheid interests backed by Western-aligned nations, played a role in orchestrating conditions that led to the fatal incident. 6. Amilcar Cabral, Guinea-Bissau, Cape Verde, 1973.
Our fight is only against the Portuguese colonialism, the foreign domination in our country.
Amilcar Cabral was an intellectual and revolutionary leader who became the driving force behind the liberation movements in Guinea-Bissau and Cape Verde. A gifted organizer and ideologist, he unified diverse groups against Portuguese colonial rule while also envisioning a more socially just post-colonial society. On January 20, 1973, Cabral was assassinated under circumstances that remain shrouded in mystery. His death came at a critical juncture for the independence movement. Given the geopolitical context of the Cold War, Western interests, aligned with European colonial powers like Portugal, were deeply invested in preserving their influence in Africa. Cabral's visionary leadership threatened these interests, and his murder is widely seen as having been enabled by proxies loyal to Western objectives. 7. Eduardo Mondlane, Mozambique, 1969.
I believe that the solution of these problems involves the whole of Southern Africa.
Eduardo Mondlane was the founding leader of Frelimo, Front for the Liberation of Mozambique, and a key unifier in the struggle against Portuguese colonialism. As a well-educated intellectual and organizer, he provided the ideological backbone for Mozambique's fight for independence. On February 3, 1969, Mondlane was killed by a parcel bomb at his office in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. The method of his assassination sent shockwaves through the liberation movement. While internal factionalism cannot be ruled out, strong suspicions persist that Portuguese intelligence, or even Western-aligned elements supporting the status quo, played a part in his assassination to destabilize the movement and maintain colonial interests in the region. 8. Mehdi Ben Barka, Morocco, 1965. Though not a head of state, Mehdi Ben Barka was one of Morocco's most influential opposition figures and an international symbol of resistance against authoritarian regimes in North Africa. An intellectual and politician, his work resonated far beyond Morocco, positioning him as a significant figure in the international left. In 1965, while in exile in France, Ben Barka was abducted from a Paris street. He later disappeared, and it is widely accepted that he was effectively eliminated, an act that sent shockwaves across political and diplomatic circles. Investigations have pointed to active collaboration between French intelligence services and Moroccan authorities, both of which operated under the broader umbrella of Western interests, keen to suppress dissent and maintain political stability in their sphere of influence during the Cold War. 9. Sylvanus Olympio, Togo, 1963. Sylvanus Olympio became Togo's first president following its independence from French colonial rule in 1960. A strong advocate for national sovereignty, he sought to reduce continued neo-colonial influence and promote genuine economic independence. On January 13, 1963, Olympio was assassinated in a coup d'etat carried out by soldiers, an event that abruptly ended his reformist agenda. The coup is widely believed to have been facilitated by elements within the French military who were uncomfortable with Olympio's resistance to neo-colonial economic dependency, thereby allowing Western-backed interests to secure a more favorable regime. 10th. Patrice Lumumba, Democratic Republic of Congo, 1961.
Je vous demande de faire de ce 30 juillet 1960 une date illustre que vous garderez ineffaçablement gravée dans vos cœurs, une date dont vous enseignerez avec fierté la signification à vos enfants, pour que ceux-ci, à leur tour, fassent connaître.
Patrice Lumumba was the first democratically elected Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Congo, then Republic of the Congo, following its independence from Belgium in 1960. A passionate nationalist, he sought to free Congo from lingering colonial influences and establish a path of true self-determination. On January 17, 1961, Lumumba was captured by political rivals, tortured, and eventually executed under conditions that were both brutal and politically charged. Declassified documents and extensive research have since implicated not only Belgian colonial officials, but also agents of U.S. intelligence. His leftist leanings and potential alignment with the Soviet bloc during the Cold War made him a prime target for Western powers determined to prevent a spread of communism in Africa. Each of these leaders shaped the destiny of their nations and the broader African political landscape. Their assassinations, influenced or enabled by Western intervention or collusion with Western-friendly regimes, underscore the turbulent legacy of colonialism and Cold War geopolitics in Africa.